Today we're testing ETS2 Lane Assist. This 2.0 beta enables fully autonomous driving from departure to destination. Features include adaptive cruise control, lane tracing on freeways, automatic lane change on indicate, and the ability to negotiate complex traffic situations in cities such as roundabouts, traffic lights, and unprotected turns. It will also automatically navigate to follow the route that's set in ETS2's GPS. Before we start the demo drive, let's take a look at the internal visualization display that you can either overlay or display on a second monitor or external device such as a tablet. The visualization will be familiar to anyone who has an interest in autonomous vehicles. In addition to our current speed and target speed, it also shows a map of the roads around us and a visualization of the nearby traffic. The blue line represents our navigation route that we've set in ETS2's map. This detailed visualization also includes speeds of the surrounding traffic and colours of the traffic signals ahead. The next clip is a fully autonomous demo drive from London to the north of England with no interventions. Let's go. ETS2 Lane Assist is now active, and I've overlaid the visualization in the bottom right corner so you can see what the program is thinking as we drive. You can see the program's route both on the GPS on the center console of the car and represented by the blue line on the ETS2LA visualization. As we set off, it was heading towards a red traffic signal, so it slowed and stopped for that, and then as soon as the signal cleared to green, it resumed automatically. Some of these clips will be played at 4x speed when there's not a lot happening, so I wanted to show the entire uncut drive, but I didn't want to get bogged down in clips where it's literally just happily driving along, staying in its lane. Of course, it's automatically adjusting its speed to suit the current speed limit and the traffic around us. So now we're about to merge onto the M25. I've kept the truck speed limiter on even though we're driving a car here, because the program is designed for use at those speeds up to 90 km per hour. So as we join the motorway here, the program requests a lane change for navigation, we indicate, and then the software automatically makes that lane change for us. The lane changes sometimes seem a little bit curious to a human driver, but if we look at the map here, you'll see that the centre lane does actually lead directly into the outside lane of that slip road. The program has no difficulty negotiating the curves, whether you're driving a car or a truck. At the end of this video, there's some highlights and lowlights of a demo drive in a truck as well, with a load on the back, so you can get an idea of how it works with various vehicle types. So it's successfully completed that interchange with no problem. In a second, it's going to request a lane change to the left lane for navigation. So I'm going to wait for the left lane to clear because the program doesn't check if there's traffic occupying the lane. So you have to make sure that space is clear before you confirm the move into it. Now we're in the lane, we can speed up the video again as the program is happily driving the car, staying in its lane, holding the set speed, and in a second we're about to hit some traffic. So we'll see the program automatically adjust its speed to suit the slowing traffic ahead of us. So as we approach this slowing traffic ahead, you can see the adaptive cruise has automatically detected the speed of the vehicles in front of us, and it's just managing that gap to make sure we keep a safe distance. We'll speed the video up again as nothing of note is happening. It's just once again happily following that traffic, staying in its lane. You kind of want your autonomous vehicles to be boring. You don't want to kind of sit there watching and waiting for it to do something weird. You want to be able to trust it and know that it's going to get you there. And ETS2LA is pretty much approaching that level even in beta. There are still some curious navigation changes. For example here, even though we are staying on the M1 and the ETS2 map says to stay on the M1, the ETS2LA navigation takes us off the motorway and it's then going to take us straight back onto it. But it's a good way to see another example of the adaptive cruise working well, and also its ability to negotiate junctions. So you can see here, It's crossed from the off-ramp back onto the on-ramp. It's accelerating up to 90 kilometers per hour, and once again we're on the M1 with no problem and no intervention. I confirm the lane change to the outside lane, and as it makes that change, it's managing its speed to any traffic that was in those lanes as we cross. ETS2LA makes lane choices based on navigation only. It doesn't make lane choices based on speed, so regardless of whether or not you're passing the traffic in the left lanes while you're in the outside lane, it's going to stay here all the same, just because that's where it wants to be for navigation. Very occasionally, the internal map of ETS2LA and the actual map of ETS2 don't line up exactly. There are still offsets that are being addressed, so you can see here it's kind of drifting out of its lane, but it still thinks it's within the lane. Luckily there's no traffic around, so we don't have to intervene, and shortly afterwards it successfully returns to the lane it's meant to be in. So now we're on the final stretch of the M1. In a minute we're going to start moving across, ready to take the slip roads into Sheffield. As you can see here, ETS2LA's freeway driving is pretty much flawless. I think I was sitting on my phone during this section. So the program is now requesting a lane change to the left-hand lane because we're about to take the slip road into Sheffield. I'm just waiting for the car inside to pass us, and then once that's clear, I'm going to indicate left, confirm a lane change, and the car will automatically move itself across to the left lane, ready to take the exit ahead. You can see it's watching the traffic ahead of us, measuring the speed of it, and adjusting the speed of our vehicle to keep distance. There is another slightly janky moment here as we head into the 50 mile an hour limit. Again, it's one of those offset issues, so the car's wandered into the hard shoulder, but it still thinks it's within its lane. What makes this one more interesting is that the vehicle ahead then merges into the lane we're meant to be in, but luckily ETS2LA picks it up, slows accordingly, and then returns to the correct lane once the offset issue in the map has corrected itself. After this tunnel, we're going to be taking the exit into Sheffield, and then we'll see how ETS2LA deals with some city driving. I've configured a route that includes roundabouts, traffic lights, and an unprotected right turn. Once again, ETS2LA manages the motorway interchange with no problems at all, and as we take the exit towards Sheffield, we can see that it's going to spot the truck ahead of us and automatically adjust its speed, so as we come off the motorway, we're a good distance from the traffic in front. ETS2LA now requests a lane change for navigation, but this is also quite useful as it's effectively a lane change for speed. Because that truck is no longer ahead of us, we're able to automatically accelerate up to 90 kilometers an hour and get past it. Heading into the city, there's no problems with ETS2LA following the curves of the road and managing its speed to suit the slowing speed limits as we get into town. We're now approaching our first set of traffic lights. You can see it's detected the light colour. We do have traffic ahead, so it's just going to manage its distance to the traffic and continue to follow our navigation route up to the next set of lights. We're approaching another set of traffic lights ahead, so it's not only tracking the vehicle in front of us, but also the colour of the lights ahead. So it's green, we can continue through the junction. There is a curious imperfection here where ETS2LA also picks up on the colour of the traffic lights facing away from us. So I'm not going to intervene because it's going to sit and wait for those lights to change. Then once they're green, it's going to continue automatically on its way. Hopefully that will be addressed before it hits like a 2.0 release. We're now approaching a roundabout, so on the visualization you can see it's planned a route across that roundabout. It doesn't pick up on traffic approaching from the side, but if there was a car in front of us on the roundabout, it would slow for it. But it negotiates the roundabout with no problem at all, and it now requests a lane change into the left lane because we're turning left at this set of lights. The lights are red, of course it recognises that, and automatically brings the car to a stop. As soon as the traffic clears the junction and the lights return to green, our car will accelerate and turn left. Once again, we do encounter that curious issue where it's picking up on the colour of the traffic lights facing the other direction, but that's just a very minor thing, and I'm willing to sit it out for the next 5 seconds till the lights clear. As soon as those lights have cleared to green, it's going to resume, and it's also going to request a lane change because we're about to make an unprotected right turn to our destination. If there was traffic coming from the other direction as we make this turn, it would of course stop for it. So that concludes our successful autonomous drive. Now let's check out some other highlights and lowlights, this time in a truck with a load. We can see here it has no problem negotiating curves or coming to a stop behind traffic ahead. We've got an unprotected left turn here and we're in Europe, so this is equivalent to making an unprotected right turn in the UK. ETS2LA does that with no issues, and it also makes allowances for the trailer behind us so that doesn't scrape on the curb. Performance in the rain is not perfect yet, so you can see although it's successfully turned into the slip road and it's slowing for the off-ramp, it does slide into the barrier. Here is an unprotected right turn in Europe, so it slows, it makes the turn, and again it's making an allowance for that trailer, so it successfully negotiates that right turn. Next up is a left turn at some lights with traffic approaching from the other direction as we cross. So as soon as the lights go green, the truck moves into the middle of the junction, waits for the traffic in its path to clear, and then successfully steers itself across the junction into the new path. Here we have a right turn off a major road, and there's also traffic in the junction ahead. So this is quite tight, but this is completely autonomous, and our truck gets around that corner with no problem. Occasionally the turns can seem a little bit sketchy, so we're carrying quite a lot of speed here, but we do successfully negotiate that left turn from one road into another. What's super impressive is that the software is able to negotiate border crossings, weigh bridges, and any other sort of complex situation as long as you have a navigation route through it. So here we've just left a border crossing and we're heading into a weighbridge. This clip is entirely autonomous. ETS2LA was active for the whole thing, which is super impressive. Driving at night is absolutely fine. As you can see here, we're going into some roadworks and we've got traffic cutting in front of us, but ETS2LA handles that with no problems at all. Here we have a left turn across a roundabout in Europe in a truck at night with a load. Because ETS2LA relies more on data from ETS2 and mapping instead of vision, it's able to successfully negotiate anything under pretty much any condition. This next clip is played back at 2x speed, but it shows ETS2LA driving a truck with a load on the back down an unlit rural road with no lane markings. Although because it does carry a lot of speed into some turns and it makes very wide turns because of the trailer, it's sometimes not expecting street furniture or signs to be in its path. Also, if you try to use it somewhere inappropriate, so this is a single track road into a depot and there's bricks on the inside of that curve, you can see it scraping the trailer. That said, it does a fine job of negotiating the dirt road into the depot towards the delivery point. As long as it's got enough room to run, it's able to negotiate any type of surface, and of course once you reach your destination you want to disengage and stop. There's one very important thing that ETS2LA doesn't see, that's railroad crossings and trains. Anyway, I hope you found this entertaining. If you did, please drop a like, feel free to subscribe for regular sim content. Take care, and I'll see you next time.